Welcome to the 24th episode of Boardwell Broadcasting Company. Tonight I am joined by DeLeathers and Barnos to discover the Subject Matter Expert Program. So as always, we have a competition for a giveaway every live stream. Please check the chat for this link, for the link to this week's document, and winners can get a token or EP. So before we get too deep in, I did want to give a quick shout out to our latest Patreon backers, and those are Vort, David, William, and Huldrick. So thank you all for backing our continued progress as a kingdom and supporting all the ways that we continue to trend set with high quality products. We cannot do it without your support. So I want to take a couple of minutes to talk about the Subject Matter Expert Program and take a couple of comments I got from Serpentius earlier today, so that we can just clarify for people what the program is, and he wants to make sure that people are aware of some simple facts. So the Subject Matter Expert Program is a way for us to foster and channel communication between the studio and members of the community who specialize in different topics, who have a knowledge of things that they can bring to the studio, so that the studio that is very dedicated to creating an immersive and dynamic, intricate game world has that sort of extra level of expertise. So I'm going to post a link to the Subject Matter Program in the Twitch chat, and if you're interested in this program, you might go on there and look at the list of available subjects. So these are the details from SERP. So 1, subject matter experts will not be sharing all of the details that they work on with us in the community. As a subject matter expert, they will be providing feedback and their expertise on systems and elements in the game that may or may not be public yet. Thus, the details of what they discuss with us and the very existence of the chat on particular subject would be under NDA. Thus, the community should not pester SMEs to tell them what they're working on for the studio, or you may get them and yourselves in trouble. 2, SME applications don't end anytime soon, even for areas of specialty that the studio has already invited. Eventually, one day in the future, it will be too late for subject matter experts to participate, so anyone interested or curious should apply now. Don't wait. 3, the first round of SMEs we invited to apply were chemists, farmers, linguists, smiths, and tailors. Soon they will be revealing the list of the next areas of expertise that they're seeking input for, so keep your eyes peeled. And last but not least, 4, for anyone wondering, a hobbyist would not be accepted as a subject matter expert. Only someone with lots of schooling, a degree or 2 or 3, practical experience, and use of that expertise, writings or teachings on it, and so forth. That is the level of knowledge that Soulbound Studios is looking for. A hobbyist would not be any more useful to them than searching YouTube. No offense to hobbyists. So before we move on, Dee has a little bit of an introduction video and some comments from one of the SMEs, and then we will be talking directly with Barnos, who is our SME who is here tonight to talk to us about her process. So if we could go ahead and cue Dee's video.
Welcome everybody, and let's jump right into introducing the first 7 SMEs following the same order as they were introduced on the COE forums. We have Trug with linguistics, Huntsmaster with metalworking, Nazrab covering law, Rayconks with chemistry, Baronos handling the areas of jewelry and casting, Turlon with farming, and Hajime Saito with pharmacology and chemistry. Please join me on congratulating all 7. Before we get to our own SME guest Baronos, I wanted to share some insights into the SME program from Huntsmaster of the Kingdom of Blackheart on the NA West server. Remember, these following quotes are from him. What are SMEs? SMEs are part of a program put together by Serpentius and the studio to really tune into the talents and knowledge of the community. We've seen this happen already with some astronomers in the community, pointing out that features of the law could only be true in a double-star solar system, and that's now reflected in the developing game. Fantastic law with some real-life knowledge in support. what SMEs aren't. SMEs are not intimately involved in the game development process. We're not part of the design team, and we won't be making any design decisions. SMEs are not the arbiters of what's realistic or even possible versus what is fun. That's good though. It's one thing to be a resource, it's quite another to be making big time decisions on a project that a lot of people have come to love. I guess what I'm trying to say is if you don't like the next Yoru Ice Hammer Axe Spear, it's definitely Snipe's fault, not the SMEs. Remember, this is Huntsmaster's quotes, not mine. So, what do SMEs bring to the table? My hope as an SME is to be a resource for the team to ask esoteric questions of and expect a better or more complete answer than Wikipedia or YouTube might give. I applied for a few of the posted areas and was granted metalworking. In this area, I have extensive theoretical and historical education, as well as modern factory experience and some hobbyist ventures. Clearly, not all of that applies in a fantasy world, and not at all to some elements we'll discover within it. But if we start with why rather than how, we can use our history from Earth to understand how other tribes of man might approach metalworking in alloys both familiar and foreign to our experience. I would love it if COE is eventually seen as a game that teaches through its crafting, as some of the great games like Star Wars Galaxy and Haven and Hearth have in the past. And in closing, when Huntsmaster was asked how he felt about being selected, his words were, "It's an honor, for sure. I think I have something to offer, and I hope to be a resource to help make COE the best damn game in whatever genre we decide it is." And so, now speaking as Deletherus, and on behalf of the Kingdom of Boardwall, Huntsmaster, we certainly wish you and all of the SME team, those that have already joined it and those that have come, heartfelt thanks and congratulations. And thank you for dedicating and volunteering your time, your expertise, and your efforts to help make COE the kind of immersive game that we're all looking forward to seeing. Again, thank you so much, guys, and good luck on your journey.
All right. So before we move on and talk to Baranos, Dee, there's been a special request. Could you go ahead and meet that request for us?
Yeah, I don't know what kind of tone he wants me to say it in, so we
A
should just
wise
go with
one.
stay a while and listen.
And we're just gonna have you do that in like different ways. Caspian just sent
Stay
a
a
bunch of
while
exclamation
and
points.
listen.
We spend the rest of the stream just Dee doing stay a while and listen in different voices. All right. So thank you for that video, Dee. And Caspian has made you an offer to play games with him, apparently. He's just going to make you say quotes while you play games. So, Barnos, you are a member of Boardwall and have been selected to be a subject matter expert. What is your take on what subject matter experts are?
Oh, well, briefly, I think it's basically a way that the developers may have in-deep design process of the techniques, the old techniques. So as they were saying that that we would have like mini games before. Now it seems that they are actually looking into the process, like the techniques, the way, for example, you hammer metal, the temperature you need to get one to be flexible, or like how you can temper one, or in case of jewelry, I imagine that they could, I don't know, even add to the game carving tools, way that you're gonna raise a few grains of metal to catch stones, and I don't know, even they can even ask me ways that you can ruin your piece, like destroy everything, so you can have a fail in your crafting. So I don't know. I think it's very interesting, and I'm excited because it seems like they are taking very seriously crafting and the techniques and how it worked centuries ago. So I think that's basically it.
Awesome. So what I'm hearing is, they're really trying to bring players with knowledge of real world skills and bring that into the game in a way that, a lot of other gaming studios probably don't. They sort of imagine it and simplify it down to crafting boxes and put this number of items in the box and hit go.
Oh yeah, and sometimes like you see if you do jewelry in other games, it's simply poof, powder, magic powder, and then it's a beautiful ring. You raise your level, I don't know, your max level at making jewelry, so it makes no difference from you and a beginner in that technique. You know nothing about jewelry making, and that's it. You poofed your ring. So I think it'll be nice in Chronicles of Illyria. Maybe we can learn a thing or two about the crafting we choose.
Yeah, this gives us kind of a interesting opportunity as players too, not the subject matter experts, but the people that are benefiting from your knowledge when we see the way that the realism is brought to the game. So that's pretty exciting. In your view, what are subject matter experts not?
I don't think it's something that, according to what I got from my from what I was reading and instructions, I don't think will be something that's made to be super realistic. Something that we will just say like, yeah, you make this, like that, and they're gonna make a simulation of how you craft stuff, because that's a game. It's supposed to be fun, not super difficult. Something that you would have to master for minimum 10 years to actually do something proper. Now, so it's not something we are not going to probably dictating ways of doing stuff and say like, oh, you can do this. As far as I know, they are just going to ask for advice when they need for the design team.
Sure, that makes sense. So what do you think in general, and I mean this in general because I want to ask you about some specific things regarding you here in a minute, but what do you think that subject matter experts will bring to the table? And I kind of invite you to think of this in a broad game sense.
What do you mean? What will bring to the table? I mean,
how do you think this is going to impact the game overall?
Oh, well, as I said, I think it's like a way to give the game a bit more of realism, but still not necessarily making it a simulation. And also will be more immersive, I guess, because, oh my God, my cat is here. I'm so sorry if he goes over the camera. And so, yeah, and I think it's going to be more immersive, and we will be able to learn a few things. That's basically what I think is going to add.
And no worry about the cat, by the way, because everybody in Twitch is excited about the cat. So
I'm not very excited about the cat going through my silver solder and my workbench there. He was doing that, but I'm gonna give him a break.
Naughty cats. All right. So final question on this topic. How do you feel to have been selected by Soulbound?
How do I feel about what?
Being selected for this program by the studio.
Oh, very excited. I'm very glad. First, because I really admire the developers and now their efforts. And well, I'm really looking forward for this game to be the best it can be. And also because it's always good to know that, they are, paying attention to the details and to the quality of their work. I'm very honored to be able to help in anything they need, of course.
Awesome. Well, we in Boardwall are definitely excited to have had you selected for this, because we know that you are extremely talented, and I do think that Dee wanted to say something about that.
Yeah. I mean, I think Baranos is kind of like an artist on many levels. Obviously, with I think she does a lot of consultation. I think for art installations and galleries and stuff, as well as creating her own art. And in fact, the logo that you see at the very bottom of this Twitch video, the Shield Wall Strong one, is one that Baranos put together for us based on a concept that I discussed with her, and
it's your design.
Commissions, and yeah, she's done a number of crests. I think she did a great one for Noslim in Newell, etc. So yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And Barnos is a professional artist and she does take commissions. And I know everybody's going to probably be nagging her after the stream, trying to find out. I've already seen over in one of the Discord channels somebody saying that they're going to commission her. So, but Barnos, you are in your studio tonight. You moved your computer into the studio so we could actually see a little bit of your creative process. So I'm wondering if you would be willing to share kind of what we're seeing and maybe show us some examples of your jewelry, since you were selected by Soulbound as the subject matter expert for jewelry crafting. So take it away.
Oh, okay. So my internet here is not that good because it's not usually where I leave my computer, and the apartment's quite big, and that's just the home studio where I do when I pass the night working. But I'm gonna try to do something here. It's all moved. I moved around everything because the computer was not supposed to be here. But yeah, let me see if I can show a few stuff here. This is the workbench. The other room is the polishing and like chemicals and stuff like that, like acid. So I can't really show, it's in the other room. So we have a sewing machine here. We have a polishing bench with like a pendant drill and some sculpture pads, because I also do vinyl and resin stuff. So we have like a air compressor there. So I use my pressure chamber here, but the vacuum chamber is in the other room because it's more dangerous. Like, at least with the equipment I have here. Shit. So very nice. So yeah, I have here lots of tools. I also got a few stuff here that to show like a little example of a medieval process of casting. I found my university samples of cuttlefish bones. Like, anytime you guys want to see it, I can compare it to modern casting. I also have like molds for the traditional modern casting that we do in the jewelry industry for gold, silver, any other kind of metal you can cast. To the lost wax process. That's also an old technique, but not with this kind of materials. And we have the cuttlefish.
So you were showing me a little bit of the cuttlefish earlier. Could you walk us through how that might be done in more medieval times?
Yeah, sure. So basically, you have like a cuttlefish. This is just half of a cuttlefish bone here. We cut half of that, and then we will cut another half. And then we have an object to be pressed between those layers. When you press an object there, the cuttlefish bone is very, very soft. So it will make a mold of it. So after you make the mold, like this, I'm pressing push to talk. So that's why I can only use one hand. So yeah, I'm gonna show inside of the mold. So after you have the imprint, the negative, you will carve your way through it. So this is where you will pour the metal. And then you open and you have like, oh, please don't mind the design. That's not a design, that's a university sample. I was having classes some years ago. And yeah, and then you have this, like I place a few broken tiles, and this is just filter. That's very easy to mount. And then we have here the traditional ones as well. Let me open. Not traditional, modern. So this is basically how the mold would look the outside when you are casting something professionally. And basically you have something made of wax, like you will sculpt your jewelry in wax, and then they're gonna make a mold of that, like they're gonna press that. They are going to make the negatives. They're this for the, if you want to repeat the process, if you want to make many different copies of your wax. And then they are gonna basically place all the little copies of that wax in a tree. It looks like a tree because there are lots of branches with your copies. And then they're gonna make a mold made of non-refractory I always say that in English, refractoire. Well, it doesn't move when it gets super hot. Refractoire. So it doesn't move when it gets super hot. So it will not deform, will not crack. It's not that brittle. So it's very heat resistant. So it's perfect for casting high temperature metals that are melted. So after you do that, they will melt inside of, like, after you make you pour some of this material inside of the tree, wax tree, you're gonna heat that. So the wax is gonna melt away. And then you're gonna use that big thing that you have there with the voids in the shape of your wax molds inside and pour metal inside of it. So this is just a little thing that I keep in case I want to copy one of my old designs. I have loads of them there. And yeah, that's like two different things. That's the modern one, and that's the very old one, like sand casting and all this stuff.
Well, it seems like everybody over in the Twitch channel is very impressed that they're already learning from you. And we were trying to get you full screen, but having a little bit of difficulty doing that on the fly. So would you ever be willing to do a quick instructional video for us at some point?
Sure, I can even relearn how to pronounce that word. The thing is, like, it's very bad for me because the specific vocabulary for jewelry, I only know it in English. I know very few things in Portuguese. That's my mother language. That's because I was educated. I had my university degree in London. And I lived that for 7-8 years, can remember, something like that. And so everything I know it in English. But after I moved back to Brazil, I almost didn't use the specific vocabulary, the English specific vocabulary. And I'm trying to relearn vocabulary in Portuguese. So I'm having some trouble when I need to kind of go back to the words. So in Portuguese, it's refratário. It's refractoire. Yes, rebels. So I can't really pronounce that any longer. I will relearn that and make a proper video. Yes,
it's all good. We'll help you figure it out. And
I have Thomas here too.
We'll help you figure it out. And
Hey, sorry.
it's all good. So you said you have a degree.
What?
Oh, sorry. I think we're having some signal issues right now because your signal is showing up really low on my side.
Yeah, that's my Wi-Fi.
It's all good. So the question was, you did say you have a degree, and that degree is in jewelry making?
Oh, so basically it's a 5-year course, more or less. We start with the foundation course. I've done it at Central St. Martin's, University of the Arts, London. So that was like basic training in goldsmithing, silversmithing, and some stuff about molds and like wood and other stuff. Then I started the degree, the Bachelor's of Art. That was fashion jewelry. The name may sound not very traditional jewelry, like we don't make stuff in gold. Actually, we have a very good education in silversmithing and other techniques. But the name suggests that we are more fashion oriented. It's not that much my case. I've done some stuff for Fashion Week in London, but it's not really my thing. So basically in this education, we had a wide range of classes of materials, processes. So we had training in etching with acid, that's the traditional way of like making those cool patterns in armors. They've done that in medieval times. So they are covering an armor with beeswax, and then you just draw the designs you want, and then you just give it a bath of acid, and it will carve by itself. It's very cool. So we've done stuff like this, or very modern stuff, like 3D printing and laser cutting, and the 3D modeling, like rhinoceros. That's the CAD for jewelry. I hate that. It's really bad. It's traumatizing. But yeah. So yeah, I've done my higher degree in London. We've learned a lot of stuff. the fashion jewelry course will let you do some like kind of like crazy stuff, like some kind of like crazy catwalk stuff if you want, but not necessarily. You can be very traditional if you want. One of my best friends from this course was very traditional. She hated the other stuff. She's like, oh, I hate plastic, so cheap, yuck. And she was only like, oh my God, I love gold and diamonds. So we have this different kinds of students there. I was more in between of, oh, I love materials. I have like a camel bone. I want to make a ring of it. So, or even preservation and like, I was also looking to work in some museums in restoration area. I really like that area as well. So that's why I probably like looked at very traditional and old ways of making jewelry, because I was not interested in mass producing or really going to the big industry. So I'm more interested to know how it was made, how it was created, so I could also help to restore old jewelry, or even taxidermy. I've done the taxidermy course as well in London.
Interesting. So I do have a couple questions. So two, I'm going to give them both to you and you can just kind of quickly answer them. Huntsmasters asked, what sorts of acids do you use in that process?
You can use some different like house-made mixes, but you can use like some diluted sulfuric acid. There's something also called ruthenium, if I'm not wrong, the proper chemical name. I can like look further into that because I'm the kind of person who doesn't remember names. I just know how to make the stuff. But that's like some kind of like it looks like sulfuric acid, but if you dilute it with water, it doesn't like, it's not going to explode if you put it straight into water. It's like more safe, but that's a very weak one. If you use sulfuric acid, and there are other ones that I'm going to get the names, even the recipes if you want, they are very easy to make at home. And then you just pour the metal inside of it. You can use beeswax to protect the metal, the parts you don't want it to be corrosive. Or you can also use even like the permanent markers. Depending on the acid, if it's not too strong, you can use that as well in smaller pieces. And if you don't have like that much, if you're not afraid that you're gonna not have very straight lines, depending on your marker, the way you make stuff. And by the way, I love Huntsmaster. He's so cool. I love his topics. I'm such a fun girl.
I'm sure that he is going to love to hear that. Mises asks, are there certain metals that are easier to work with than others?
I think my Wi-Fi just trolled you.
Oh, the question was from Mises, and he asked, are there certain metals that are easier to work with than others?
He asked. I was hearing everything perfectly except for like he asked something or something or something.
I know this Wi-Fi, this does not bode well for your connection on NA East. It does not. Metals, which are the easiest?
Yeah, I can
to work
always
with?
go back to the other room.
Easiest to work with.
So yeah, just you can write the message or you can just tell me again. I think the Wi-Fi is improving. Or not.
All right, I just Discorded you the question.
Oh, the easiest metal. Okay. I'm inclined to say to answer my favorite metal, but that's not really what he's asking. I think actually silver is very easy to work with. Silver is like, in my opinion, the easiest one, but we don't start working with silver. Brass is actually a very soft and easy metal to work with, and that's usually what we start working on when you're learning jewelry, or even, I believe, I'm not sure, probably Huntsmaster knows that better, but when you're learning to work with different kinds of metal, because brass is very cheap, it's easy to manipulate, it's easy to solder, to cut, and it's cheap. That's more important. But apart from the cheap part of brass, I believe that silver is much easier to work. But that's just my opinion.
Thank you. So one more question on this topic, and then I would like to see some of your work if possible. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, I was just saying, and also copper is very easy as well. We work at that as well with that.
Yeah, Dee actually said in the Twitch chat that he enjoyed working with copper himself. Oh, now we're getting more questions. Huntmasters asked, niobium is a really interesting jewelry and coinage metal with a unique collection or connection to Brazil. Have you ever had a chance to work with it?
Yeah, I'm actually kind of like doing this. It's not gonna be my first collection released in here. I moved back to Brazil about like last year, so I'm still kind of like setting my stuff here. I'm gonna release a new collection soon, so that's not gonna be my first one. But after that, I already have the designs done and the materials bought. I'm gonna use a few of the unique materials you can find in Amazonia and some other parts of Brazil. So seeds, different kinds of wood, even some ethically sourced pau-brasil. That's like something you're not usually allowed to work. It's a super red wood, so cool. And also like the design will be inspired by some of the tribes from the north. So some of their jewelry, I'm in touch with some of them, and maybe if I can afford, like, with work and everything else, I'll probably take some time to be there with them for some time and learn some of the traditional old techniques, from Tupi-Guarani, Kaiowá, and all these cool tribes. Oh yeah, I'm actually going for that as well. I like working with different metals as well. Materials like bones. This is camel bone I have here. Well, some bones from everything actually sourced. Please don't kill me. Every time I say I'm a taxidermist, people try to kill me. So yeah, no animals were killed for that. But yeah, I'm usually trying to get inspired by animals and insects from Brazil, like
Very cool,
birds.
very cool. Yeah, I think, and everybody seems really impressed with that over in the Twitch channel, just so you know. From Anashan, question, what is your favorite type of piece to make, and what do you think you make best?
I like rings. I really like rings, but right now I am obsessed with brooches. So brooches are so cool because you can make cool stuff, like small stuff, and make a brooch for that. You can make big stuff and be kind of like bold and wear like some drag queen style brooch. That would be amazing. But you can also make like some very discreet, I don't know. So yeah, but you got it. So I think brooches are very it's versatile because it can be worn by women, by men, by animals. And it's not something that's like usually related to one gender specifically. I really like brooches, and they're quite fun to make. Rings are very fun as well, but right now I'm pin and brooch obsessed. Yes.
Awesome. So really quick, and then we're going to move actually into talking about the info dump we just got. Would you be willing to really quickly show us just slowly on camera some of your work, specifically like your rings that you have done? Because you did just say you like to make the rings. So I'd love to see those.
Sure. So yeah, just like a disclaimer, I can show really the cool stuff, at least in my opinion, the cool stuff. I'm not a huge fan of like very traditional jewelry, oh, that's a diamond and stuff. Like it's cool, okay, I see the value in that. But I like, the weird stuff, like octopuses made of gold with stones. But I can really show stuff like that because I have like a copyright thing that I'm still working on for my new website. So yeah, the collection is not released yet, so I can really show that. But I can show some old stuff from the time from my university, for my degree, and show some of the very traditional ones, because that one, my lawyer is not gonna kill me for that. So yeah, I'm gonna try to slowly put the very traditional, boring stuff close to the camera. So I'm gonna release the mic. So yeah, we have like some golden stuff with like diamonds, like a little shower diamond thingy. My camera is not really good, but yeah, that's like basically diamond, white gold, and gold. And we have here some other boring stuff, gold and smaller rings. Sorry, I'm using one hand. And I have here some contemporary jewelry that I made for my mom. So it's not really a problem if I release that. So this is one of them. So basically you have one side in silver, oh no, that's silver. In silver and the other one in pearl. It's just like some kind of like weird shape one. I've made a series of like shapes like this, don't know why. We have here some carved silver. That's from a technique, old technique from Cambodia. It's not really easy to see, but it's like a ring, no, it's like a little sphere that we carve inside and outside, and you make little holes. And you carve the metal in a way that it looks like it's full of stones, but it's not. So we have here some more contemporary stuff. This is tiger wood with gold-plated silver. That's something, it was made for a catwalk, as you probably can guess. It's like something that you would wear in your ears. And you have like, I don't have the full collection of that one here because I've sold a few ones. But I have here the ring. That's like, so yeah, this, and yeah, that's my very first piece, I guess. When I was at foundation course, let me just put it in my hand. It's like a gold-plated silver, and I was trying to make something that would relate to the spine, like or spine, the way it moves. So I just disassemble it, so it's not possible to wear as it was worn before. But it was like some kind of like bracelet with ring. Let me just make an example how.
Well, thank you for sharing all of that with us, and I hope we can maybe see some photos in the near future. Really, really well. So thank you for sharing all that with us. It's very obvious why Soulbound chose you as a subject matter expert. So thank you for sharing the expertise with us, and hopefully we can get an instructional video or something showing off in the future.
No problem. Thank you guys for talking to me. And I'm so sorry I'm confusing sometimes and I talk a lot and my English is not as good as it used to be in this area. So sorry.
It's all good. So we do want to really quickly just talk about the fact that if you did not see it, Caspian just dropped an adventure completion from pre to alpha journal on the website. And we're going to talk through some of those points. Dee, I know you have had a chance to really look through this real quick. Was there anything that caught your attention, maybe surprised you, or that you're really excited to see?
Oh, there was just so much in there, right? It was I thought it was great. I mean, it's very long, which is good. This is what people clamor for, and I think the studio has this kind of like damned if they do, damned if they don't, where like if they give a short thing, people say we want more information, and if they give more, they say, well, we've got a wall of text. But there are so many images to look over on here. Whether it's kind of like I really enjoyed the image of the AI system to see how that works, and to see kind of like just how that kind of like even on a simplistic level that functions. Seeing the progression of the map voting is obviously, I think, exciting for pretty much everybody within the community. I know, there are certain topics and subjects that some people go to more than others, but that's definitely one. The evolution of pre-alpha. It was nice of Caspian to share kind of like the evolution of it from its very, very basic, almost like original mud type through the 3D of voxel and then onto the kind of like what we call Preleria now, which is the low poly version, and he goes into explaining that, and hopefully we're not too far away from actually starting to be able to get to enjoy some of that. What were your favorite parts of it?
I actually am really loving this Pre-Illyria art style. You know, I was really excited about Voxelaria. I'm a fan of games like Staxel, which uses a Vox style art, but the concept art for the new Pre-Illyria is beautiful, and actually seeing it in action, I mean, even as like a role-playing platform or just a place to run around and do the mechanics, you know, it could almost pass as a lot of the indie games we're seeing currently, like those graphics, even though they're, you know, they're kind of stylized. But you're seeing games come out like this. So the Pre-Illyria is really going to be in its own way kind of an exciting experience with this graphic style. And then that upgrade into the full system, I think is going to be gorgeous. But I'm really impressed with this. That got me excited to see that footage, and I can't wait to see it in motion. So Naz has some showing some of those pictures on the screen. Yeah, so there's so much information in here. One thing to definitely mention is the map voting, as you were just talking about, Dee. They are working on, it says they're all but finished the map voting portal. So what you're seeing there now is a pretty good depiction. And when is map voting is the big question right now. It says, while we've got a date in mind now, I'll leave the exact announcement of when map voting begins for the 0.50 intro blog coming out later this week. Okay, so later this week, it is Tuesday today. So sometime between now and the end of the week, it looks like we're going to be getting another release of some kind to get some more details. And that map voting is apparently getting released during 0.50. So that is exciting news for sure.
I think one of the things then, Caspian, I don't know if you're able to share this or not. How long do you expect 0.50 to last? Then we'll know kind of like what window we're looking at, right?
Yeah, that would definitely be interesting information to have if they happen to be able to release that.
I doubt it. It'll have to be the soon thing, because I think it's unfair for them to give a date, because, you know, shit happens, you know, life happens kind of thing, and then they always kind of like get kind of like lambasted by kind of like, you know, the naysayers in the community. So yeah, I think we'll leave that one alone.
Caspian said the window wouldn't help us, so that's definitely interesting. Yeah, Jackson Gora said, I love how Pre-Illyria is going to translate into the final Illyria better, and excited for map voting coming up. I think that is a good point. Like, the new visuals for Pre-Illyria are going to feel a lot more like the actual game. So I did not get to read all of this yet because I was prepping for the stream, but you know, really I see this as being a more authentic way to engage with the mechanics, because that art style is going to be a little bit more close to the real thing. And Caspian says map voting is sooner than the end of the release. That is a mysterious way to word that. So any other points, Dee or Barnos, if you want to add anything on this, anything about this release that you wanted to talk about tonight? We are at 8:45, which is usually around when we start wrapping up.
No, I think that you know, whether Serp or Snipe or Caspian has anything else to add in kind of like a comment there on the SME program, or if they have anything else to further add to the large amount of info that he posted. But because it's so in depth, right? It's like, what more can you ask?
Yeah, and
thing, you know.
We were all stuck over here getting ready for the stream, so hopefully we'll be able to take a deeper dive into this. I think there's a lot of exciting stuff in it, talking about crafting stations, family narratives, destiny system, just kind of breaking down how it's changed and evolved over the course of the development. I know we wouldn't be bored well if we didn't try to harass Caspian for information, right? But it's out of love. And I do want to, before we end the episode, you know, definitely remind, we just got a great view from Barnos on jewelry and why she was selected as an SME. And just to reiterate that point from Serpentius, that if you have that level of knowledge, you know, you have a degree in something, and that practical experience, that hands-on and that skill, you know, go and apply, even if something has already passed. And that link can be found, you know, on the main website. I've posted it in the chat. I'll post it one more time. And everybody in Boardwall is always glad to help you find links if you need help. So I do want to reiterate one more point before we end, which is that our new night is officially Tuesday. Everybody was very accommodating in getting things to switch over due to my work schedule. So I am very thankful to the team over here, Noslam working on the back end, and Alexander running our question and answer forum and getting everything set up, and Dee and my other guests for being willing to switch that time. So thank you, and do look forward to the next episode will be on the 16th, therefore on Tuesday. So I'm going to pick our winner question for the contest tonight. And I am going to have it go to Anishan. He was the one who asked the question about Barnos's favorite type of jewelry or a piece to make and what she thought she made best. I thought that was a very appropriate to the episode question. So congratulations to Anishan. And Anishan, you can reach out to Dee to get your reward. So hopefully you guys have enjoyed this episode tonight, getting a sort of different look, you know, getting a little bit away from Chronicles of Illyria, but at the same time, very on topic, because Barnos will be bringing her brilliant knowledge to the studio. So thank you very much, Barnos, for being our special guest tonight.
Oh, you're welcome.
And Caspian says, do we want an exclusive? Of course we want an exclusive, Caspian. I mean... what greater honor is there than an exclusive from Caspian? So
exciting.
I'm always reading chat, Patrias. So
can I ask something?
Yeah, go for it.
What is wing sauce? What kind of sauce? I'm sorry,
I'm for winning. You're full of win sauce.
Whoa, sounds tasty. I'm so sorry. I'm Brazilian, excuse me.
It's all good. So that it would be a term meaning that you are full of win, that you are very knowledgeable and full of awesomeness. That's what.
That's so adorable. Thank you.
Oh, okay. There's a screenshot that Caspian just posted of an image. This is a pre-Illyria broodbeer female. Oh my god, that style is great. That is super great. I am loving this artistic direction. I don't know if Naz can get that downloaded and up super quickly, but it's, oh, yep, there he goes. He's ahead of the game. That is a really cool art style. I mean, like I was saying with this, there are a lot of games that are coming out right now that are full release games that the graphic style isn't even as sort of streamlined as this. So the fact that pre-Illyria is going to be so stylistically concise and interesting at the same time is pretty exciting to me. So thank you for that, Caspian. And at this time, unless anybody else has anything they want to say, what are Gora? Oh, Gora can't stop laughing about the wind sauce. Yeah, that low poly is super awesome. So Dee, you planning to go over to the inn tonight?
Yeah, I can hop over for about half an hour before I have to start cooking supper, and people can ask us questions. We had a great one. Was about 2.5 weeks ago on the last Thursday one that we did. It was just such an informative chat. I keep forgetting. Fuck my age. It's the inn or the tavern. I think it's the inn.
It's the inn. I double checked.
There we go. I always ask. I always forget every time. So we'll see you on those that want to come on over to the official COE Discord voice chat. We'll be chatting in the inn for a good half hour to an hour afterwards as a wrap up.
All right, guys, have a great night, and congrats to Anushan again for winning this week's contest. Thank you, Barnos, for being on, and we will see you in 2 weeks.
What?
Alrighty,
2 weeks?
alrighty. Take
Oh,
care,
yes, 2 weeks.
All right.
So sorry.